Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive all about the science behind those dazzling light shows we call auroras.
You know, the northern and southern lights, ever wonder what causes these mesmerizing displays?
Well, get ready to find out because we're about to uncover the fascinating connection between the Sun-Earth's magnetic field and even the air we breathe.
That's right, we're going to break it all down, looking at the chemistry behind auroras, the role of the solar wind, Earth's protective magnetosphere, the atmospheric gases involved, and the processes of ionization and excitation.
Sounds exciting. Let's dive in.
So first things first, auroras are essentially just excited atmospheric gases emitting light.
Excited gases.
Yeah, think of it like a neon sign.
Oh, okay, so just like electricity makes those neon gases glow.
Exactly, it's the same basic principle, but on a much grander scale.
So what gives the atmospheric gases enough energy to create these massive auroras?
The energy source is, well, it's out of this world, literally. It's the sun.
The sun.
Not just the sunlight we see, though. The sun is constantly releasing a stream of charged particles that we call the solar wind.
So it's like the sun is constantly throwing out a stream of energy.
That's a great way to put it. And thankfully, Earth has a pretty good shield, the magnetosphere.
Ah, Earth's magnetic field. It protects us from all that solar wind craziness, right?
Exactly. It deflects most of the harmful radiation. But here's the thing. It also plays a key role in creating the auroras themselves.
Oh, how so?
Well, the magnetosphere acts like a funnel. It guides some of those charged particles from the solar wind towards the Earth's poles.
That's why auroras are more common at higher latitudes, right?
Precisely. The poles are kind of like the entry points for these charged particles.
Okay, so the particles reach the poles, and then what?
Then they collide with the gases in our atmosphere.
Mostly nitrogen and oxygen, right?
Got it? And when these charged particles hit the gas molecules, they transfer some of their energy.
And this is what the color magic happens, right?
Exactly. Each gas emits a different color when it's energized. Oxygen gives us those vibrant greens and reds that we often see.
So the colors actually tell us about the composition of our atmosphere. That's pretty neat.
It really is, and it all comes down to those processes we mentioned earlier, ionization and excitation.
I remember those terms, but can you remind me what they mean?
Of course, ionization is when the charged particles from the sun knock an electron off of an atom in the atmosphere. This turns the atom into an ion, which is basically an atom with an electric charge.
Okay, and what about excitation?
Excitation is when the energy from the charged particles causes the electrons in the atom to jump to a higher energy level.
So they're getting all riled up.
Exactly. And when those electrons fall back down to their normal energy level, they release that extra energy as light. And that's what we see as the aurora.
So it's all about energy transfer from the sun to the atmosphere and then released as light. Incredible.
It is a pretty incredible journey from the sun to those stunning displays of light.
It really is. I'm already fascinated by what we've learned so far.
Well, good, because there's still so much more to uncover.
Like what?
Well, next we'll be digging into how we even figured all this out in the first place, the history behind our understanding of auroras.
That sounds fascinating. Can't wait.
Get ready for some truly enlightening stories. We'll be traveling through time to see how our understanding of auroras has evolved from ancient myths and legends to modern science.
Awesome. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, let's go. Welcome back.
All right, so we've got a basic grasp on the science now.
Right.
But I'm really curious, how people understood auroras before we had all this scientific knowledge.
Well, it's fascinating to think about. Imagine gazing up at the night sky thousands of years ago with these shimmering lights dancing across the heavens and no scientific explanation for what they were.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine the awe and wonder, maybe even a little fear.
Absolutely. And different cultures around the world developed their own unique interpretations of these celestial displays.
So what kind of stories do people come up with?
Oh, there are so many fascinating myths and legends surrounding auroras.
Okay, give us some examples.
Well, for example, the North people of Scandinavia, they believed that the auroras were reflections off the armor of Valkyries.
Valkyries.
Yeah, those mystical figures who escorted fallen warriors to Valhalla.
Wow, that's an epic visual. I can totally see how people would weave those kinds of stories into their beliefs.
Yeah, and the Inuit people of the Arctic, for instance, they saw the auroras as spirits playing a game with a walrus skull.
Wow, such vivid imagery. It really speaks to the power of the human imagination to try and make sense of the unknown.
Right, but when did we start moving from mythology to scientific understanding?
Yeah, when did that shift happen?
Well, it was a gradual process, but some early Greek philosophers like Aristotle began to speculate that auroras might be connected to atmospheric phenomena.
So even back then, there were attempts to find a natural explanation for these displays.
Exactly, but it wasn't until the 17th century that we started to see more concrete scientific inquiry into auroras.
Ah, the age of scientific revolution. What sorts of discoveries were made then?
Well, one of the key figures was Galilean.
Oh, Galileo, the guy who looked through a telescope and turned the world upside down?
Yeah, that's the one. He was actually the first to use the term aurora borealis,
Aurora
which
borealis.
is Latin for northern dawn.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And around the same time, Edmund Halley, the astronomer who predicted the return of Halley's Comet,
Right.
well, he made significant contributions to aurora research as well.
So they were starting to lay the foundation for our modern understanding of auroras.
Absolutely. But what really pushed our knowledge forward were two key developments that happened in the 20th century.
Yeah, what were those?
First was the discovery of the electron.
The electron?
Yeah, remember those tiny charged particles?
Right, essential for understanding how the sun interacts with Earth's magnetic field.
Exactly. And the second key development was the advent of space exploration.
Oh, of course. Being able to send satellites and probes into space must have been a game changer.
It absolutely was. Suddenly, we could directly observe the sun and the solar wind, giving us a much clearer picture of what was happening.
So with those advancements, our understanding of auroras really took off.
It really did. It's fascinating to see how each discovery built upon the last, from ancient myths to modern science.
It really is a testament to human curiosity and our relentless drive to understand the world around us.
And speaking of the world around us, we've been so focused on Earth.
Right?
What about those alien auroras we touched upon earlier?
Oh, yeah. Are those just hypotheticals, or have we actually observed auroras on other planets?
We have, and some of the observations are truly mind-blowing. One of the most striking examples is Jupiter.
Jupiter.
It has the most powerful auroras in our solar system.
Wait, even more powerful than Earth's?
Oh yeah, much more powerful.
That's incredible. What makes them so strong?
Well, Jupiter's magnetic field is about 20,000 times stronger than Earth's, so it can capture and accelerate particles with much more energy.
Wow, that's intense. So what do these superpowered auroras look like?
They're massive, incredibly bright, and they're not just limited to the poles like on Earth. They can extend all the way down to the planet's equator.
So it's like a planet-wide light show.
It would be truly spectacular. And here's where things get even more interesting. Jupiter's auroras aren't just fueled by the solar wind.
Well, they're not. What else is fueling them?
They're also influenced by charged particles coming from one of its moons, Io.
Hold on. A moon can create auroras.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Io is volcanically active, and it spews out particles that get trapped in Jupiter's magnetic field and contribute to those dazzling auroral displays.
Space is so much weirder and more wonderful than I ever imagined.
It really is, and we've even observed auroras on other planets like Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
So it seems like auroras are a pretty common phenomenon in our solar system.
It seems that way.
Does that mean they could exist beyond our solar system too?
That's a fascinating question, and one that scientists are actively exploring. We've even detected auroral emissions from planets outside our solar system, though we haven't directly observed them yet.
So those alien auroras we were speculating about earlier might actually be real.
It's highly likely, and who knows what strange and beautiful forms they might take, shaped by the unique conditions of those distant worlds.
My mind is officially blown. This has been such an incredible journey. We've gone from ancient myths to the possibility of alien auroras.
It's been quite a ride.
What else is there to explore?
Well, we've touched on the cultural significance of auroras, but there's a whole world of stories, beliefs, and artistic expressions inspired by these celestial lights.
That sounds like the perfect topic for our next installment.
Indeed. Join us next time as we delve into the cultural tapestry woven by auroras throughout human history.
We'll explore how these lights have influenced art music, literature, and even spiritual beliefs.
Until then, keep looking up at the night sky and let the auroras spark your imagination and wonder.
Welcome back to our deep dive, into the captivating world of auroras.
We've journeyed through the science, the history,
Right.
and even touched upon the possibility of auroras on other planets.
It's amazing to think that something that seems so magical, actually has a solid scientific explanation behind it.
Right.
But today, we're shifting gears a bit to explore the cultural impact of these celestial displays.
It's fascinating how auroras have been a source of inspiration and wonder for humanity for millennia.
And that wonder has manifested in countless ways, from ancient myths and legends to modern art music and literature. It seems like auroras have a way of capturing our imagination and then sparking creativity.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's start with the art world. Imagine a painter standing beneath a shimmering curtain of green and red light, trying to capture that ethereal beauty on canvas.
Yeah, it's a scene that's probably been repeated countless times throughout history.
It has, from the cave paintings of our ancestors to the canvases of Renaissance masters and contemporary artists, auroras have left their mark on artistic expression.
Do you have any specific examples? I'm curious to see how different artists have interpreted the auroras.
Well, one of the earliest depictions of an aurora is a 30,000-year-old cave painting found in France. It shows a red, hand-shaped figure thought to represent the aurora.
Wow, so even our ancient ancestors were captivated by these lights. That's incredible. What about more recent examples?
Well, moving forward in time, we see auroras appearing in the works of Renaissance painters like Peter Bruegel the Elder, and later in the romantic landscapes of artists like J.M.W. Turner. And even today, contemporary artists are using a variety of mediums, from photography to digital art, to capture the beauty and mystery of auroras.
It's amazing to see how different artists across different eras have interpreted the auroras in their own unique styles. It's like this phenomenon transcends time and continues to inspire new creation.
Exactly, and that inspiration isn't limited to the visual arts. Auroras have also made their way into music.
Music, but you can't had or hear the auroras, right?
Well, not in the traditional sense, but they've certainly inspired composers to create music that evokes their ethereal beauty and otherworldly atmosphere.
I can imagine music that captures the swirling, dancing movements of the auroras.
That's exactly what many composers have attempted to do. One notable example is the Finnish composer Jean Sibelius, whose music often reflects the landscapes and natural phenomena of his homeland, including the auroras.
I've heard some of Sibelius's work, and it's incredibly evocative. I can definitely hear the inspiration from nature in his music.
And beyond classical music, auroras have also influenced contemporary genres like electronic music and ambient music, where artists often use synthesizers and sound effects to create otherworldly soundscapes.
So whether it's the sweeping melodies of classical music or the atmospheric textures of electronic music, auroras have found their way into the sonic landscape. I never would have thought about it that way.
It's quite remarkable, and let's not forget about literature. Auroras have also played a role in storytelling for centuries.
Oh, that's interesting. What kind of literary works feature auroras?
They pop up in everything from ancient myths and poems to modern novels and science fiction stories. For instance, in Shakespeare's play, Hamlet, there's a famous line where Horatio describes the aurora as this wondrous, strange, and unnatural.
Shakespeare referencing an aurora. That's pretty cool. Are there any other examples?
In more modern literature, we see auroras playing a role in science fiction novels like Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials series and fantasy epics like George R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire.
It seems like whether it's a backdrop for a dramatic scene or a symbol of magic, and wonder auroras have a way of adding a touch of enchantment to literature.
They do, and speaking of enchantment, we can't forget about the spiritual significance that auroras hold for many cultures.
Right, we've already talked about some of the ancient myths and legends, but how do people view auroras in a spiritual context today?
For many indigenous cultures around the world, auroras continue to be seen as sacred and powerful phenomena.
Can you elaborate on that?
For example, the Sami people of Northern Europe believe that the auroras are the spirits of their ancestors dancing in the sky.
Wow, so witnessing an aurora is almost like connecting with her ancestors. That's beautiful.
It is, and for other cultures, auroras are seen as a manifestation of divine power or a bridge between the physical world and the spiritual realm.
It's fascinating how these natural phenomena can have such deep spiritual meaning for people.
It really highlights the profound impact that the natural world can have on our beliefs and cultural practices. We've come to understand the science behind auroras, but their ability to inspire awe and wonder remains timeless.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey through science history, art, music, literature, and spirituality.
It really has.
We've learned about the chemistry that makes auroras happen, the history of our fascination with them, and the countless ways they've inspired human creativity and belief systems.
It's a reminder that the universe is full of wonder, and that even the most seemingly distant phenomena can have a profound impact on our lives.
So the next time you have the chance to witness an aurora, take a moment to appreciate not only its beauty, but also its rich cultural significance.
Think about the myths and legends. It inspired the artists who tried to capture its essence on canvas, the composers who sought to translate its movements into music, and the spiritual connections it fostered across cultures.
And remember that these shimmering lights dancing across the night sky are a testament to the interconnectedness of science, culture, and the human spirit.
On that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the world of auroras.
We hope you've enjoyed this journey of discovery and that you'll continue to explore the wonders of the universe around us.
Until next time, keep looking up and let the auroras inspire you to learn, create, and connect with the world in new and meaningful ways.